All right, welcome to Cochrane Real. My name is Shane and I'm your host today. So this is going to be pretty exciting. I'm going to talk a little bit about ventilators and why there is no way on God's green earth that I will ever get put on a ventilator. Period. So stay tuned. Why would I say such a thing? Let me know in the comments below if you like the thumbnail. I thought it was pretty cool to show a thumbnail of The Matrix where Neo was actually in this big abyss of capsules where they were actually incubated, if you will, ever since they were a little baby. And basically he had a breathing apparatus. And I don't know if you remember that, where he actually pulls it out and it was about this long, went right deep inside. That to me is the future. In the United States and Canada, they are purchasing thousands of ventilators and they're building them every single day. And if you've ever watched a video about how they actually hook you up to a ventilator, that should just give you nightmares the rest of your life. So basically, I won't describe it, but they basically, like in detail, I'll just give you a little snapshot. They put basically a little tongue, if you will, inside your mouth, and it goes right down to about here. And it's basically an apparatus that takes over the breathing for you in a nutshell. But there's so many complications that can happen. CNN reported today that 9 out of 10 people die when they get put on a ventilator. That is scary enough in itself. I don't think those numbers are accurate based on anything that I've read, but it is absolutely fearful, the idea that you can be put on a ventilator and not make it. I don't like those odds. There's other complications with ventilators as well. Some of them can cause pneumonia, depending if they infect your lungs. Because sometimes if they can actually, there's so many things. They can actually force too much oxygen in your lungs and actually cause your lungs to collapse, which is crazy. They could also, if you touch the tongue, you can actually infect the tube that is going inside of your throat. That's terrible as well. And there's all kinds of other complications, but that's just normal stuff. So what they're also finding, what some doctors are finding, is the people that are going on to these ventilators, it's not a normal case. It's not a simple case of, hey, these people have COVID-19 or they have pneumonia or all this kind of stuff. They have something that's a little bit different. It's not quite what they're saying. So their cases are showing up where one doctor said, it feels like the patients that we have, like they just dropped 30,000 feet out of the air and ended up on our table. Like they look like they're lacking oxygen in their lungs and they're crystallized with a ton of iron. And it's almost like their lungs are being depleted of oxygen. So even if we hook them up in these ventilators, it's not going to help them because it's doing the wrong thing. Puts oxygen in there and then a little bit of CO2 as well. And if the mix isn't right, they're dead. People are dead. So that's terrifying in itself. So they haven't really got this solved, but yet there's a big push to buy thousands of ventilators. So that's terrible. I don't like that. So I also mentioned in another video that this sounds a little bit like we're getting into the end times and all that kind of stuff. And some of you might be thinking, well, why can I be so bold to say that? Well, it's all about control at the end of the day. And that's what I fear, is, especially in Canada, it feels like they're just pushing us around a little bit. If you would have told me a few months ago that, let's say end of December, if you would have said that it's actually illegal to go to church, you would be arrested or fined for going to church, I would have said you're crazy. If you told me going to Banff would be illegal, going to a national park would be illegal and you can get fined or jailed, they're throwing numbers in Alberta that are ridiculous. $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 jail sentences just for hanging out at a park? Are you freaking kidding me? We were asleep. We are totally asleep. And I feel bad because I'm just like, man, I got caught. I got caught off guard. I didn't anticipate this happening this way. Somehow we just agreed that it's okay to stay at home and not go to church. And it's too late. We can't fight it, not on an individual basis. So if it was up to me, what I'd like to do is propose an idea, and that is July 1st, every Canadian across Canada walk outside their house, join hands, link hands in their neighborhoods, spread out from sea to shining sea in protest on Canada Day, Independence Day, because if we can't get together on this, it is game over. Think I'm kidding? Here's what's coming down the pipes. I talked a little bit about the mark of the beast and all this kind of stuff, and people are like, ha ha ha, whatever. I'll take the mark, whatever. I've had friends tell me that yeah, it makes sense, I'll take the mark because I need to eat and all this stuff. So here's kind of how it's going to play out a little bit. My theory. You start having the media say that, you know, you guys got to stay home. You got to stay locked up. You got to start doing all this stuff. If you're not listening to us, there could be a second wave, guys. Like, please, we're imploring you, stay home. It's for your own protection. Stay home. So that's phase one. They're going to be slowly rolling that out, saying stay home or else something bigger is coming. And they're already starting to do that in the States. And my thing is, where did influenza A and where did influenza B go? Where did H3N2 go? In the fall, the CDC was quite concerned that this influenza strain was going to wipe out a lot of our medical systems. This was in October, November. They were worried about another strain, the H3N2, which was spreading like crazy every year. If you go to the CDC site, go to the FDA, check out their website, read all the documentation. I read a ton. 2015, H3N2, 2016, 2017, 2018. Last year, 80,000 Americans died from influenza A and B. This year, nobody's getting influenza A. Nobody's getting influenza B. H3N2 disappeared. No, everything is being pushed to COVID-19, and it makes me sick and disgusting. So I said right now, they're starting to push the idea that there's going to be a second wave. Do not open up too early. Do not go back to work too early because it could start all over again. So that's the fear. So if you do open up the country and people do go back to work, they're going to hit us again with another virus. But this time, they're going to have a vaccine probably ready to go in the fall. I said end of December, early January 2021. But, excuse me, I think we can get a vaccine probably by September, and it's going to somehow connect with Bill Gates. Because right now, if you're familiar with, oh man, this goes way above my pay grade. If you're familiar with, if maybe you haven't heard of this, but it's called nanoparticulars. It's basically scientists have actually come up with a duplicate virus. So it's all digital, and they basically can mirror almost any type of virus and inject it into people almost like a vaccine to tell our immune system, hey, this is a virus, this is what you need in order to fight it. So they call that nanoparticulars. That's what they call that. So that's one thing. So they could mirror this stuff. leads to the argument, was it man-made? Did it get created in a science lab? It's starting to feel that way, that this is man-made. Because scientists, our doctors are saying they've never seen this before, what it does to the lung. Just crazy. So another thing, okay, so with Bill Gates, how is this all tied together? So you got quantum dots. Let's go with that. If you look it up, quantum dots, it's basically Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are coming up with a way to map your system, map your body, almost like a tattoo. It's like an invisible tattoo that you can actually get put onto your hand. And it's invisible. You get that tattoo that's basically painted on, and it's invisible. You won't see it, but it's just tiny, tiny little dots. They call it quantum dots. They're so tiny, your phone can actually pick it up if you do, like with your QR codes and all that. Your camera can actually scan it, and then they will allow you to go inside of a grocery store. They will allow you to go to church. Oh, thank God. And then if you work in a restaurant or any place, you can actually open up because you've had the vaccine and you have the quantum dots tattoo. We'll call it the mark of the beast for short. So I could see that coming down the pipes before the end of the year, which is crazy. This used to be science fiction so far away. So I think they're going to be rolling this out pretty soon, because if you look at every government, they're basically looking at ways that they want to prevent us from getting it again. They want to know who had it, and they want to know who didn't have it. And if they're immune, they might have to tweak their virus a little bit, their man-made virus, just a little bit to take out those people as well, to infect those people with it. So it's absolutely mind-boggling where things are headed. Now, you're wondering, where do I get all my sources and stuff? I get it from the World Health Organization. I get it from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. I also get it from Alberta government website. Go to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's all there. It's all wide open. They're telling us what they're going to do, and we're asleep at the wheel. So yeah, so there you go. So that's this episode. I hope that wasn't too dark for you, but when you read a lot like I do online, it gets a little crazy. The rabbit hole gets very, very deep. So thanks for watching. Please comment if there's anything else you'd like me to talk about below. Feel free to comment. Subscribe to this channel. That would be fantastic. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.